You want to win, huh? You want to rise while the world spits on you, laughs at you, kicks your name around like trash in the street. Then be patient, but not the soft, candlelit version they sell you in therapy rooms. No, real patience is war. It's a slow burning, silent, dangerous war. You think strength is noise, explosions. No real strength is sitting in that quiet room with your pain and refusing to run. It's facing your anger without exploding, holding your dreams close without begging the world to believe in them. You bleed in silence. You build in silence. Alone. Focused. They told you to wait your turn, didn't they? What they really meant was wait until we're done destroying your confidence. And you trusted that timeline. You thought maybe if you were good enough, kind enough, loud enough, they'd finally see you. You thought loyalty would be rewarded. No loyalty gets you used. You give your best to people who barely give you their bare minimum, and then they blame you for not being enough. The irony burns. You bleed yourself dry, and they ask, why aren't you more alive? Let me tell you a story, kid. Imagine a lion in a cage, not roaring, not moving, just watching, and every fool that passes by thinks he's broken. They throw rocks. They laugh. Stupid lion doesn't even fight back. But that lion isn't dead. He's healing, waiting, calculating. That silence, that stillness, it's a warning. But they're too busy running their mouths to hear it. And when that cage opens, the world goes silent. That's patience, not weakness. Preparation. You want it fast like them. Chasing likes, chasing noise, chasing fake applause. But the loud ones burn out quick. They get the spotlight just long enough to choke on it. But you're not built for flashes. You're built for storms. You don't just want the throne. You want to rebuild the entire kingdom. That takes time. That takes sacrifice. That takes pain. And more silence than most people can stand. They think patience is soft. That waiting means losing. No, patience is brutal. It's waking up in the same hell every day and choosing not to break. It's holding your tongue when your name is being dragged. Your worth questioned. You're back against the wall, and the only thing louder than your heartbeat is your rage. But still, you wait, with clenched fists, with bleeding lips. Because deep down, you know, this pain isn't the end. It's the beginning of everything. Don't beg them to see you. They're blind. Comfort made them lazy. They won't see until you become the very thing they tried to bury. You think they'll regret hurting you just because you cried. No, regret only comes when your silence becomes success. When the ghost they tried to kill walks back in, not to talk, not to explain, but to conquer. You're not here to prove them wrong with words. You're here to destroy their illusion of who you were. Quietly, you keep asking, when will it change? When will it be my turn? Wrong question. Ask instead, will I keep moving even if it never comes? Because most people are only patient when they think the reward is guaranteed. But you have to be patient like nothing is promised. Like nobody's coming. That's how you win, by not needing the wind to keep walking. You want to heal, then stop waiting for them to apologize. You want to grow, then stop needing their support. You want to dominate, then stop telling the world your every move. Stop sharing your plans with people who secretly hope you fail. Go dark, stay cold, stay distant. Let them wonder. Let them invent stories. That's their problem. Yours is to rise without noise and strike when it's too late for them to react. That's what patience does. It blindsides. So yes, be patient, but not soft. Be patient like a caged king, like a volcano before eruption, like a ghost building a grave for every fake friend who called you. Too slow. They won't see you coming, and that's the point. People don't fear what they see coming. They fear what vanishes, what never explains itself. That's what makes patience deadly. It doesn't argue, it doesn't scream, it disappears. And when it returns, it's not to talk, it's to end. You think the world owes you a reason, closure. No, the world owes you nothing. That silence you sit in, that's where you become something different. That's where the version of you they betrayed gets buried, and something colder, smarter, untouchable is born, but only if you endure. Only if you don't run from the slow days, the ignored messages, the fake smiles, the nights that stretch forever with no answers. That's the real test. Can you suffer without making noise? Can you get stabbed in the back and still walk straight? Not to prove them wrong, but because you no longer care about their opinion. That's real strength. They won't teach you that. No, they'll teach you to react, to beg, to post quotes like some wounded bird seeking sympathy. But you don't want sympathy. You want silence so deep it echoes. Scars that speak louder than speeches. Because you know something they don't. You know patience isn't weakness. It's power delayed, not denied. They're watching you. They check your profile more than you check theirs. They wonder if you're broken yet, if you're still standing. They hope your silence means surrender. Let them. That's your advantage. They don't know what you're building. While they chase attention, you stack ammo in the dark. Emotional ammo, mental ammo, lessons, rage, strategy. You're learning how to strike without warning. That's what happens when a patient soul finally decides it's time. And the world, it doesn't get a second chance to react. You've been through hell, haven't you? They left you when you needed them most. They ignored your loyalty, played with your kindness, laughed behind your back. You gave them everything, and they acted like you were asking too much. And now, you've gone quiet, stopped calling, stopped chasing. That's why they're nervous. Because silence screams. It screams growth. It screams control. And control. That's what they thought you'd never have. Let them think you're gone. Let them think you've lost. Every time they assume you're finished, that's another blind spot you gain. And when you return, don't announce it. Just start taking your time, your space, your power. No warnings, no explanations. Just presence. That's what patience teaches you. To become a storm that doesn't forecast itself. You just show up and change the weather. You're sitting in that dark place right now, wondering if it's worth it. Wondering if being silent, strong, and disciplined will ever pay off. Let me tell you, yes, it will. They all crack. Every one of them. The fake friends. The ones who used you. The ones who said you weren't enough. They all crack. Not because you screamed. Not because you exposed them. But because you didn't. You kept walking. Kept building. And that silence, that's the kind of pain people never forget. Not the loud kind. The silent kind. The kind that whispers, he didn't even flinch. That's what patience gives you. Revenge without effort. Victory without announcement. Don't wait for the storm to pass. You are the storm. You just haven't learned how to release it yet. All that fire you've been hiding, all that pain you buried, all that silence you survived in, use it. Build with it. Every quiet day is a brick. Every ignored message is a weapon. Every lie they told becomes a shield. Stack it all, and when the time is right, don't shout. Just rise. Rise like a ghost they thought they buried, a shadow with eyes. Cold, focused, unbothered. Patience isn't easy. It's not soft, it's brutal. It's walking past the ones who hurt you like they never existed. It's smiling while you're still bleeding. It's planning your empire while they're laughing at your ashes. But when it's all said and done, they won't remember the version of you they mocked. No, they'll remember the silence that followed, and what rose from it. That silence, it wasn't for them. It was for you. Because in that stillness, you finally heard yourself. Without all the noise, without the lies, without the masks you wore just to be accepted. Patience strips away every illusion, every dependency. It kills the need for approval, the urge to explain. Because once you've sat in enough silence, long enough, broken enough, you realize nobody's coming to save you. And that realization, that's where you become dangerous. That's where you stop playing their game and start building your own. Quietly, carefully, coldly. The world doesn't need to hear you scream anymore. It needs to feel your presence. They thought your silence meant surrender. That was their first mistake. See, the weak always confuse quiet with defeat, but not you. You've been dying every night and waking up like nothing happened. That's what patience really is. It's surviving your own destruction without showing it. And every time you do, you become a little less human and a lot more legend. People don't fear noise. They fear consistency. They fear the one who disappears and never returns the same. You think you're the same person they broke? No, you're the version that refused to die. The version that watched everything burn and kept building in silence. And that version, it doesn't chase anymore. Not love, not friendship, not even recognition. Because when you're patient, you stop reacting to what doesn't serve you. You stop needing to be understood by people who never cared to listen. You stop arguing with those who chose to misunderstand you. Let them think what they want. That's not your problem anymore. Your job isn't to explain. It's to evolve. Without announcement, without noise, without warning. The most powerful moves are the ones nobody sees coming. And yeah, they'll talk. They'll say you changed, that you're cold, that you're different. Good. That means it's working. They don't realize you gave them the softest version of yourself, and they destroyed it. Now, they get to meet the patient version, the calculating version, the version that doesn't beg, doesn't chase, and doesn't forgive easily. Because patience doesn't mean forgetting. It means remembering. Quietly. It means storing every betrayal like fuel. It means using every scar as a blueprint, not to react but to rebuild. Better, stronger, colder. You know what scares them the most? Not your anger, not your tears. It's the moment you stop explaining your pain and start using it. That shift in your eyes when you realize nothing they did can stop what you're becoming. That's what keeps them up at night. Because now they know. They don't have access anymore. You're not waiting for an apology. You're not hoping for closure. You gave yourself both, in silence. Patience is watching the world move around you. Fast, chaotic, loud. And you don't flinch. You don't rush. You don't panic. Because you've been through worse. You've felt pain so deep it made you numb. And once you've survived that, there's nothing left to fear. They think you're slow. No, you're precise. They think you're lost. No, you're focused. Your path doesn't need a crowd. Your rise doesn't need witnesses. Let them mock you. Let them talk. One day, that same mouth that laughed will go quiet. Not because you silenced it, but because your success became too loud to ignore. Most people want power fast. Love now. Revenge immediately. And what they get is cheap, hollow. You want something real. And real takes time. Real takes silence. Real takes patience that breaks weak men and builds monsters. And you, my friend, you were made for this. You've bled in the shadows too long to stay soft. Let them underestimate you. Let them misread your silence. Because when the clock runs out and you step back in the game, they won't know what hit them. They won't see it coming. They never looked deep enough to know what was rising beneath the surface. They thought the version of you that bent, that begged, that stayed loyal no matter what, that version was permanent. But patience doesn't preserve the soft. It forges the savage. Maybe one day, far from now, they'll sit alone and wonder what happened to the version of you who gave them everything. And the answer will sit in the silence they left behind. Because when you went quiet, it wasn't to retreat. It was to rebuild, brick by painful brick, scar by forgotten scar, until you became the very thing they can't forget, the one who healed without help, the one who rose without noise, the one who turned patience into power and silence into revenge. So be patient, but never peaceful. Be patient like a shadow waiting for the sun to fall. Be patient like a lion staring through the bars of its cage. Be patient like a storm just before the thunder. And when it's time, don't knock, don't speak, just take everything they thought you'd never have the strength to claim. Because here's the part they'll never understand. Patience is loud on the inside. It's a war, a storm, a scream no one hears. You laugh when you're dying inside. You give when no one gives back. You stand when everything in you wants to collapse. And they call that strength like it's poetic. It's not. It's survival. You're not here because you're brave. You're here because you had no other choice. And that made you cold. Not cruel, just done. Done waiting for people to do right by you. Done hoping for love that comes with conditions. Done apologizing for the fire in your chest. Let them say you're distant. Let them say you're cold. You should be. You learn the hard way that warmth attracts leeches and kindness is currency in a world full of thieves. So now you give nothing unless it's earned. You speak less because you realized how many were listening only to reply, not to understand. You stopped sharing your dreams because they weren't cheering. They were competing. And the less they know, the better. Your patience has become your armor, your silence, your sword. You've become the villain in their story, not because you changed, but because you stopped letting them write in yours. They thought you were foolish for being loyal, for staying, for trying. And now they call you cold for leaving. Funny, isn't it? How they only recognize your value after you withdraw it. But don't say a word. Don't fix their guilt. Don't give them the closure they refuse to give you. Let them rot in that silence. Let them sit in the mess they made and call it confusion. You don't owe them clarity. You don't owe them peace. Patience isn't about holding on. It's about holding back. You held back your rage. You held back your pain. And now you hold back your presence. That's how you win, quietly, completely.